Congressman, how you doing? Look at you. Look at you. Look at this. West Point, boy. We have a victory, and it was a battle, and it was a war, and you know how to fight a war, and you won.
You know, the last couple of days, Benny, I've torn my ACL, pulled a hammy, and tore my Achilles after doing all these victory laps. You know, it's just been, and I'm gonna keep on doing it. I'm gonna get some surgery, and I'm gonna keep on running. It feels like life is back in America. Freedom is back in America. The air just feels a little bit more crisper now, doesn't it? I just feel like we got our country back. We stood up against all of this ridiculousness, being called garbage, being called fascist, being called racist. Now, as you so articulated it, we're calling Latinos and black men. We're now racist and we're now sexist. It's laughable. And I want them to keep on going, because what this tells us is that they have learned absolutely nothing about the referendum that happened in this country a couple of days ago, which means that in 2028, you're going to see it again. And because now that President Trump is back, and when he brought his ruler with him, now all of a sudden they're scattering like roaches. Keep it up. Keep doing what we're doing, because we're going to have a great time here in the next election as well, and in our midterms, until you figure out that America simply wanted our country back. We wanted our economy back. We wanted safety. We wanted mortgage rates back to a reasonable place so we could buy homes again. We wanted safety. It is just that simple. We are speaking this in clear language that people can't understand, and they are trying to tap dance around the fact that they got that wrong, and they have absolutely no message to address these issues that impact minorities more than you could ever imagine. Benny, I am in heaven.
You literally do live, sir, in a red kingdom. Here is your state, your beautiful state.
Look at that. Oh, look at that.
Your district here. Let's go ahead and find it. Where are we at here? Where's your district? Right here.
Yep.
Right in here, this county?
Just to the east of that. Keep going over. I'm sorry. Yeah, the east, the other way.
Yeah.
Keep
so
going,
my apologies.
Keep going. It's like it's a suburb, like right in Houston.
Yeah. So right around here. Right in the general Houston area.
Yeah. Right around there. Yeah.
Okay. So you say you're living in heaven. You live in a red kingdom, actually.
Yes,
here.
I do. Yeah, we won about 27, 28 points.
That's right. Look at what's happened to your state. This is after Barack Obama said demographics are destiny. Texas is turning purple, then blue forever. And then he orchestrated with Eric Holder the largest criminal smuggling operation in human history, along with Soros prosecutors, to try and turn your state blue.
Look at that.
And this has backfired.
Yes.
Atrociously. And I'd love for you to give Barack Obama perhaps you have something to say to Barack Obama about this.
Well, again, this goes back to Barack Obama a few weeks ago, wagging his finger at black men because they weren't going to vote for Kamala Harris just because of the color of their skin. It was completely nonsensical and insulting to assume that black men and that black Latinos and that other minority groups are stupid. And we're simply going to vote for somebody because of the way they look, even though we cannot afford to live day to day. We're living paycheck to paycheck. We are in record debt. We're in record credit card debt. And you're looking at black people saying, you know what? I want you to forget about all that. I need you to vote for Kamala Harris because she understands the way you live just because of the color of her skin. And they tried this joke for the past 10 years, and it's backfired. And by the way, they have let 15, 20 million people into this country legally right there at that southern border in Texas, and you still lost by 15 points because we don't believe you. We are living in this economy every single day. And the only thing that we want is to be able to afford to live in this country again. We don't care about race, religion, color, or creed. We just want safety. And that goes for all Americans. That goes for black people, white people, Hispanic people, you name it. We want safety. And Barack Obama whiffed. Because what is he doing all the time? Identity politics.
Yes.
And this is 2024, brother. I understand a couple of generations ago, this was a rough time in this country, but we've come a long way. Look at this country. We are all Americans in the same boat. We've made a lot of progress. And if they don't want to recognize that, as I just said, they're going to continue to lose. By God, keep playing the identity politics game and assuming that people are stupid because we don't understand what's going on in our country.
Identity politics is dead. I believe that Barack Obama's political dynasty is now in shambles. That house has been razed to the ground. Do you agree?
Yes, he's done. The Clintons are done. All these Democrat dynasties are done. President Trump has literally destroyed everything the Democrat Party stands for. And again, don't sit around here and call him racist, brother. I've been black for a very long time. He has been nothing but kind to me and my family. In fact, he's been quite helpful to me getting to where I am today. And again, last I checked, brother, yep, still black. So at this point, when are we going to talk about the actual issues that impact all Americans? And that's why he is doing so well.
So this messaging failed so disastrously. And this shows sort of like taking a step back and saying, Democrats are having to come to terms with how devastating this win was. We have some incredible, the exit polling, the county map. Man, we live in a red country. Brother, we live in a red country with little blue dots, and we have the majority of the nation on our side. 70% of the country, 80% want national voter ID. What are going to be some of the actions that Congress takes immediately? Because it looks like odds are Republicans are going to keep the House miraculously, and so now the American people are going to say, reflect our priorities in governance. No more silent majority. Reflect our priorities. Can we please get some voter ID? Like, please. We're starving over here. Can we please get some voter ID? Congressman, this is the most popular opinion of the United States of America that is on the right. Voter ID. 85% of the country wants it.
Yes.
Please, may I have some more?
So this is what we need to do. First of all, the SAVE Act needs to be passed immediately. We want free and fair election. Shout out to Lara Trump and Michael Watley for the way that they handled this election by making sure that we had a free and fair election, and we made sure that there was no funding business and no cheating. This was such a decisive victory. And the fact that this was the most expensive race in the history of this country, they outspent us by $1 billion. And President Trump just won the popular vote. He got 312 electoral college votes. Look at that map. The country is now red, and you have nothing to say about it, even though he outperformed her by 5 million points. And you're telling me that Joe Biden got 81 million votes 4 years ago. So the first thing that we need to do is ensure that in perpetuity, we have free and fair elections. And this is the beginning of that. I can respect losing as long as we lose fair and square. And what we have seen in the dichotomy of the last 4 years to electoral map now, how about we just keep this going? How about we keep up the good work? How about we allow people to walk into that booth, show their ID, prove who they are, and then move on? And I'll tell you this too, Benny. These people that play identity politics also assume that people of color and black people are stupid, as if we can't get a government ID to vote. And the reason why they do this is because they are playing black people to continue to vote for them because they want illegals to vote in this country. So first of all, let's clean up our voter rolls. Let's be responsible. I have to have an ID to go buy some milk for my family. So to vote is a much higher standard. Let's assume that people are responsible enough to attain a government issued ID. And let's talk about common sense, fair voting laws. And then lastly, before 10 o'clock, states like Florida and North Carolina and Wisconsin, they counted their votes. It was over. We have Elon Musk bringing back rockets from space. And you mean to tell me that we can't figure out how to count votes in one day? They are still counting votes in Arizona. They're still counting votes in Nevada. How is this possible? Count the votes, show your ID, and by midnight, this should be over across the country. Let's follow the example of Florida and states like that have done this the right way, and every single state need to adopt those kinds of policies. We can count in this country. Free and fair elections, have an ID, and make sure that you are who you say you are when you vote for the leadership of the greatest country in the world.
Congressman, you brought up a great point. And let's play a game here. Let's 100% believe the vote count in 2020. All right, libs, hear me out.
Okay.
I believe you. I believe you. Joe Biden got 82 million votes.
Yeah.
I believe you. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna play this game. We'll play your game, lib.
Oh, this pesky math. Look at this math.
Where the hell did they go? Exactly. Somebody explain that to me.
Where'd they go?
Here's your votes this election. It's only 4 years. Where'd they go? So clearly what you're admitting here is that this is the single greatest political failure in American history, where nigh on 20 million people decided not to vote for you in the time span of 20 years. Can somebody explain that to me?
After we got outspent by an additional $1 billion. This was the most expensive race in the history of this country. They were villainizing us. This is actually probably the most aware the American public has been about voting a couple of days ago. And you're telling me that 20 million people just evaporated? They just didn't show up? That's the question that we have got to ask. Where did they go? And President Trump just got 74 million votes. That's the highest count that a sitting president has ever gotten in the history of this country. Let's put that in perspective. And also, I'm going to tell you this about 2020. There were roughly 168 million registered voters, and roughly 157 million people voted. That's a 93.4% voter participation rate. That's better than Barack Obama in 2008. You're going to tell me that Joe Biden was more popular than Barack Obama in 2008? I don't buy that. I don't believe you. And we have got to do a full autopsy as to what happened in 2020 because it just smells fishy, Benny.
Yeah, it makes no sense. I mean, listen, either way, whatever way you cut it, Democrats are going to have to admit some type of catastrophic failure. Yes. Because the numbers don't add up. The math doesn't work.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I mean, somebody explain it. Either way, I'm so deeply thankful for this result. I really hope that we get some answers, more answers here, Congressman, something that is very exciting that broke literally seconds ago. Here we go. Jack Smith has filed a motion to vacate all of his deadlines for Trump's criminal charges, the first step in dropping all criminal charges. Now, the House Oversight Committee, and I know you're very close with Comer and very close with Jordan, are looking at Jack Smith with a microscope. Talk me through the lawfare against Donald Trump, and what do people like Letitia James and Fani Willis have in store?
Well, first of all, you can imagine the American public and average Americans watching a lawfare that was used against President Trump. His house gets raided. They want to value Mar-a-Lago at $18 million. Dude, the chandeliers at Mar-a-Lago are worth more than $18 million. You try to take this man's money. Then you try to put him in jail. And then, none of this works. So now we got to try to kill him. That didn't work either. And then now, imagine this. Jack Smith and Letitia James knew exactly what they were doing the entire time, and the chickens are coming home to roost. I sit on the House Judiciary Committee. I cannot wait to actually address this and address them one-on-one because they have some serious explaining to do. And then I'll say this. The American public realized something that was very simple. If they could do this to Donald Trump, then they can do it to us. And this is what they voted against. President Trump said this multiple times. They're not coming after me. They're coming after you. I'm just standing in their way.
So what are some of the major investigations that we can expect out of the United States House of Representatives? Obviously, the Judiciary Committee is an incredibly powerful committee that you are on. You've had some bangers, Congressman, some questions that you've been asking, everything from Trump assassinations to the lawfare against President Trump. Who do you expect to be, brought in first for questioning? Where are the investigations going to go?
I can't speak for what Jim Jordan's plan is, but given what you just dropped today, I think Jack Smith is going to be the first person on this list, and then we're going to see if he shows up. And if he doesn't show up, then he will be in jail. Because guess what? We put Steve Bannon in jail, but yet we didn't put Hunter Biden in jail. And so I dare him to tell us at this point, now that we have the House and the Senate and the presidency, that he doesn't show up when we actually call you and put your feet to the fire. And my guess is he's going to be there. And this guy is going to be my guess. I can't speak for Jim Jordan, but I know him relatively well. This guy is going to be on the top of that list, on the top of this docket.
What would be your first question to Fani Willis? If Fani Willis, I mean, I know that Nathan Wade's had to come in, even though he tried to dodge your subpoenas. Had to be hunted down by federal marshals to come in to the Oversight Committee.
My first question.
What would be some of your first questions?
My first question off the top of my head is going to be, do you hate America? What is your job? Do you think that your behavior over the course of the past few years was fair? Would you have behaved the same way if President Trump was a Democrat?
Yeah.
Do you have any remorse for what you've done? And I'm going to start down that moral high road, and then we're going to get down to brass tacks as to exactly what she did and why she was wrong. But my guess is she is going to be pretty hot, and that's going to be a very long judiciary meeting because every single Republican is going to show up, and we have the majority. So it's going to be far more us than them, and she's going to have a very long day.
That's so interesting, the point that you brought up about Jack Smith. Man, they threw Peter Navarro, and they threw Steve Bannon in jail.
Yeah.
They tossed him in jail. And they would have tossed the key away if they could have. We
Yes,
all
they
know
would.
it. And we all know, Congressman, that the goal was to lock up Trump for the rest of his life. If Trump hadn't won this election, then he'd be going to prison forever. He would die. President Trump would have passed on from this world in jail. We know that was the plan that they had. This individual on screen right now, that was her plan. Letitia James, that was her plan. Jack Smith, that was her plan.
Yes. But
It'd
God
be
is
very
good.
nice. It'd be very nice to get to the.
Because it revealed their true intentions to the American people. This is
Yes.
part of the reason why that we won by such a great margin. I thank God for these people. I thank God for these clowns because they revealed exactly who they are. And we as a people have got to continue to vote against this. Again, lawfare against a former president, that's unprecedented. And again, they'll do it to us. So this is going to be a reckoning back here when January shows up. And I'm here for it, brother.
Mm. You have the wind at your back. We brought up Fulton County because this is actually something that's happening in Fulton County right now as of this morning. This is probably the most viral clip on the internet, which is a Kamala Harris mural that is getting a red paint job over it.
Oh.
That is play the. I know we have as a play beside. Toss it up. So maybe you've been so inspirational on this program, Congressman. We're so deeply appreciative for you.
Thank
for
you
your beautiful family. I want to just take a moment and say, like, people don't talk enough about spouses and about children and about what they go through for men like yourself to go fight the good fight. It's a lot of time away from the family. It's a lot of time away from your kids, away from your wife and your beautiful family. And so we just say thank you for your fight. You've sacrificed a lot. You've won your election in a landslide.
Yeah.
And now Kamala Harris is getting a red paint job over her face in Atlanta. They're done. Maybe you can crystallize what this election meant to you. Give us something inspirational to sign off with.
Well, I no longer feel unburdened by what has been done. and I want to give a shout out.
That is this clip. This is the unburdened clip.
I want to give a shout out to this country that I love so much, a country that I'm willing to die for. And yes, it's a lot of time away from my family, and I got a 6, a 4, and a 2-year-old. But I will tell you this: in 20 years, I will be able to look at my children and I will say that their father did everything he could and everything in my power to ensure that they had an America for the future. I'm sorry that I missed some things, and I'm sorry that I wasn't there, but I am doing this for them. And when people have children and they look at their future, it changes their lives for the rest of your life. My life no longer matters. The only thing that matters are your beautiful babies, Benny. The only thing that matters are my beautiful babies, Benny. And I will continue to fight tirelessly for this country so that we can have an America that exists, that works for them, not the other way around. So that's why this fight is worth it. God spared my life in combat, and I believe he did it so we can continue to fight for this great nation, for our children and our children's children. And when you understand that, you realize that this country is worth saving.
I got chills, Congressman. That's never happened before on this program. Maybe I'm just so overwhelmed by what a special week it's been. But I just got chills. You're such a patriot. Everyone, go on over and follow the great Congressman Wesley Hut right here. 257,000 followers, and he's heading to 1 million. America's golden age starts right now, Congressman. Thank you for your part in
God bless you,
bringing
man.
this.
Thank you for all you do, brother. And God bless your beautiful family.
All right, man. Godspeed.
Thank you, brother.